We're back for our MLB Best Bets here on Tuesday, July 8th. All 30 teams today play for Major League Baseball, or in Major League Baseball today. So we've got you covered throughout the day here with our MLB Best Bets, kicking things off with a money line and ending the day with both a money line and a best player prop. Now, before we get into the video, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily MLB Best Bets here on the channel. On Greedo Plays MMA this week, our UFC Fight Night Nashville predictions. Derek Lewis takes on Taliesin Teixeira in the main event over on Greedo Plays MMA. That video is linked in the description down below, along with Greedo Plays MMA. On top of that, today we're going to be posting our 5 best bets for that UFC Nashville card. So on top of just those predictions, we're going to have 5 best bets out later today on Greedo Plays MMA. So make sure to join us over there for that video. We're going to be dropping at least 4 videos a week on Greedo Plays MMA. So a lot of stuff going on over there. Okay, so hit that subscribe button down below over there and here. Let's move on now to the first of our 5 best bets for the MLB today. Kicking things off with our first money line bet. Guys, if the league's not rigged, the New York Mets will beat the Baltimore Orioles today. I know I have a lot to say every single day about the Mets, and most of it is negative. Spoiler alert, I'm going to have something negative to say about the Mets later in this video, not because of this, because of some all-star stuff. But if the league's not rigged, and if something, if Vegas doesn't have their hands all over this one, the Mets aren't losing to the Orioles here today. I don't know why the Mets aren't at least minus 165 here. It really doesn't make sense to me. First of all, look at the pitching matchup. I get it, Clay Holmes doesn't go more than 6 innings. He's going to give you 5, 6 innings of 1 or 2 run baseball. Who's starting for the Baltimore Orioles? Brandon Young. The 26-year-old out of Lumberton, Texas, has an 0-3 record this season and a 7.02 ERA. He has had 4 starts this year with the O's. 2 were in April. A start against the Reds where he went 4 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs. A start against the Tigers, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs. And then back-to-back starts on June the 25th and July the 1st against the Texas Rangers. The one at home at Camden Yards, 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs. The one at Globe Life, 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. This is a guy who can't go more than 4 innings, and teams always score on him. I've been very critical and very harsh of the New York Metropolitans all season long. There's a reason for that, but I've been very critical on them all year long. They are coming off of winning series back-to-back at home against Milwaukee and at home against the New York Yankees. They lost their last game of that 3-game set against the Yankees 6-4, but you're telling me this lineup's not going to score against Brandon Young? Come on now. Again, I hate on this team a lot, but Juan Soto, again, James Wood is better than him, but Juan Soto is rising to the occasion right now. I got to give credit to where credit is due. Juan's OBP is 400. He gets on base. Pete Alonso is one of the consistent best power bats in baseball. Please become a Washington National next season. Francisco Lindor is all right, but again, there are just guys in the lineup. Brandon Nimmo is annoying only when you don't want him to be annoying, right? Jeff McNeil is quietly actually having a really good year right now, batting .260. Starling Marte in the leadoff spot has been more than good for New York as well. They're coming off an off day, so the bullpen is fully rested. Again, it's a mixed bag at times with guys like Reed Garrett and company, but obviously you know what Elias Diaz is going to bring, one of the best closers in all of baseball. And we'll see. Did I say Elias Diaz? I said Elias Diaz, didn't I? Not the Colorado Rockies catcher. No, he's on the Padres now. Edwin Diaz. I can't believe I said Elias Diaz. I'm sorry. Elias Diaz, how does that guy have a job, by the way? That's all I'm saying. Don't get me started on the San Diego Padres. Edwin Diaz, my goodness. But Edwin Diaz, again, elite closer in baseball. He's an all-star again this year. You know what the bullpen brings. And I look at the Baltimore Orioles. I don't like this team at all. They did nothing in the offseason. I know, again, they've won 3 in a row. They went to Atlanta and swept the Braves. Guys, spoiler alert, sweeping the Braves is nothing special. It just isn't. The Braves, I think, have maybe a worse record than the Miami Marlins right now. I think they do. I don't care that you swept Atlanta. And Baltimore got good pitching in Atlanta. They're not getting good pitching tonight. Their lineup, again, it's getting better. We've always known Gunnar Henderson's an elite player in this league. The whole thing, he didn't get a spring training. We knew he was going to be fine. Ryan O'Hearn's been excellent. Jackson Holliday has been excellent as well. The rest of the team leaves so much to be desired. Guys that we thought were going to have big years this year, Cedric Mullins, Adley Rutschman, Kobe Mayo, none of them have showed up this year. So besides Holiday, Gunnar, O'Hearn, and I guess Ramon Laureano's quietly having a good year as well, I just don't trust the Orioles. On top of that, Clay Holmes is more than serviceable. I get it's at Camden Yards, but Clay Holmes has been more than serviceable. He's going to give you 6 good innings. And Brandon Young's pitching for the Baltimore Orioles. Brandon Young is not beating the New York Metropolitans, okay? The Mets are not the best team in the division. They're probably not even making the playoffs. They probably will, but they will beat the O's today. And if they don't, I'm going to laugh, but also be very disappointed and angry at the same time. So get it done, Metropolitans, in Baltimore, -130 for the Mets. Okay, our second best bet of the video today is our best player prop for the Nationals. We're going to have a player prop later in the day as well. CJ Abrams, over 1.5 total bases on the road here in St. Louis, Missouri against the St. Louis Cardinals. So today marks a new era in Washington Nationals baseball. Miguel Cairo is now the new interim manager of this baseball team. He's been the bench coach. He's one of Davey's guys. So a little interesting. I heard that Cairo didn't travel with the team yesterday to St. Louis, but he's still going to be the manager. So I assume he's just coming late to the Gateway City, but it is what it is. It's a new era in Nationals baseball. Will they beat the Cardinals today? Probably not. You know, I'm going to celebrate if they do, if they somehow beat Sonny Gray on the road with the first game as Cairo as manager. Will that happen? Probably not. And let's just be honest, guys, Cairo's not a long-term fit. He's just there because they couldn't find anybody else right now. Again, they just hired within, and likely we are going to look elsewhere in the offseason, and I'll get into the manager search in another video. I might make a specific Nationals video during the All-Star break, so stay tuned to that if you care. Anyways, this is all about CJ Abrams. There's motivation for CJ. This was a first-time All-Star last season. It did not get to return to the game this year, and I will get into the case for CJ Abrams to be an All-Star in a little bit. But this has been a very good hitter this season, batting .285. And yes, Sonny Gray is good. He is the best pitcher on the St. Louis staff. 3.51 ERA for Gray this season, coming off a start against Pittsburgh, though, where he wasn't that good. Went 6 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs against the Pirates. The Cardinals ended up losing that baseball game 5-0 at PNC Park. However, the start before that for Sonny Gray was fantastic against the Cleveland Guardians. And I get it, the Guardians have their struggles at the plate. We'll get to that in a second. Sonny Gray, though, against Cleveland on the road, went 9 innings of 1-hit baseball. And 0 runs, obviously, and 11 Ks. That's a pretty damn good start. We don't really care what happens with the rest of the team today for the Nationals. I think, again, if the Nationals are playing a good game, they are going to... I think they're going to fare pretty well against the Cards, honestly. Will they, though? Probably not. I mean, will they win? Probably not, let's just be honest. But Abrams, Wood, Garcia, all favorable matchups against a good righty, don't get me wrong, in Sonny Gray, but an old righty in Sonny Gray as well. Again, Gray's been around for a minute. But yeah, I'm going CJ Abrams over 1.5 total bases. I think the line's too good to +100. It's kind of a revenge spot here, just for the fact that CJ was not an all-star, tried to go back-to-back. And obviously there were some circumstances that limited him from going to the game this year, and I'll get to that in a second. But I'm going CJ Abrams today over 1.5 total bases in St. Louis against the Cards. Now again, there is a definite... Here's the thing, okay? So the National League... multiple All-Stars for shortstops. Only 2 actually got a nod. But I think there's a more than appropriate case that CJ Abrams should have been an All-Star. Now, I'll just say it. CJ Abrams should have been an All-Star again this year. And I know what you're thinking. Well, you think he's better than Elly De La Cruz? I do think so. But I was going to come on here and say, I think CJ deserves it over Elly. I'm here to tell you, no. He deserves it over Francisco Lindor, okay? I'm just going to be honest. Abrams is better than Lindor. His numbers are better than Lindor. And obviously, okay, fan voting screwed us here. But Abrams has a higher average than Lindor. Lindor's only got 5 more home runs, and he's played way more games than CJ. CJ missed about a month of action earlier in the year. And guys, if you weren't already convinced, CJ Abrams leads all National League shortstops in OPS. He's got the second slug out of all the shortstops in the National League. Second OBP, second highest average. He's got the highest WAR out of all National League shortstops. He's got the 4th most home runs, and he's got the most doubles. And this is a guy who missed about a month of the season earlier in the year. And I know, again, our record means we're only going to get 2 All-Stars. I completely understand. But this guy should have gotten in the game this year. I will again argue that he's better than Elly De La Cruz, but I firmly believe the much better argument for Abrams to be an all-star this season is over Lindor and not Ellie. I mean, I don't even think it's all that close. I get it, Lindor's got a better glove. I'm not even going to argue that at all. And yes, Lindor's a much more established name on a better baseball team. I can't deny that. But again, Abrams is batting Abrams a 285 hitter. Lindor's batting 261. Again, home run numbers and RBI numbers and power numbers are going to go to Lindor. But again, if you give Abrams those 3.5 weeks back, he's probably right where Lindor is. And OPS for Abrams is way higher than Lindor. Lindor's got 785 OPS. Abrams is at 840. There's really not many better shortstops in baseball than Abrams, and I get it defensively. He is not great, and that's a long-term aspect thing with the Nats. Like, okay, will eventually Abrams end up playing second base or the outfield because of his glove? Potentially. You know, if Ethan Holiday does get drafted to this team in about a week, then obviously he is the long-term solution at shortstop. But obviously, Abrams, we need to extend him. And I feel like, honestly, I'm just going to be honest here, CJ Abrams is probably the most likely to sign an extension with the Nationals. One, Davey's gone. I'm just going to be honest. With that, I don't think Abrams really liked Davey all that much. And two, he's not a Scott Boras client, so he's much more likely to sign on to an extension, unlike our other 3-star players that are all represented by Boras. Obviously, Gore, Wood, and Cruz. So extend CJ Abrams now. He should have been a 2-time All-Star. There's a chance he can get in as an alternate, but probably not. I do think he'd honestly be the next shortstop in line to get in the game. Trey Turner exists. That's a whole nother thing. I'm going to be honest. I think CJ Abrams and Trey Turner should have been the 2 All-Stars for the shortstops. I think Ellie's great. I'm not denying Lindor's a good player, but I don't know. Abrams is better. Anyways, CJ Abrams is going to prove them haters wrong today. Over 1.5 total bases for CJ in St. Louis, plus 100. Our third best bet of the video is our daily Nerfy. We are going to Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas for the Houston Astros and the Cleveland Guardians. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The max I ever go for any play is minus 145. Unless I really like it, then I will go to minus 150 at times. This is, getting on, is heading in that direction, obviously, with the minus 140 today for the Nerfy, but I like it a lot. Houston Astros, Cleveland Guardians. Yesterday's surprising outcome, Cleveland beats the number 1 team right now in the American League West. They win 7-5 at Minute Maid yesterday against Houston. It was Colton Gordon, and Tanner Bybee going on the mound yesterday. Nerfy did hit, by the way, yesterday. There were no runs scored until the 5th inning, where actually both teams scored 4 runs in the 5th yesterday in Houston. But I like the Nerfy a lot today. Obviously, Hunter Brown is an elite pitcher in baseball. He's an all-star this season for the first time. He's a guy who is going to receive votes for the Cy Young this season, even though, again, he's probably not going to get close to Tarek Skubal. Anyways, though, Hunter Brown's having a phenomenal season, 1.82 ERA. He's 7th in all of baseball in strikeouts with 126, and he's got the 4th lowest whip in all of baseball as starting pitchers, qualified starting pitchers at 0.9. Hunter Brown's coming off a start against the Colorado Rockies at Coors at elevation. You know how hard it is to pitch over there. Hunter Brown goes 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. That will play. The start before that, you take him out of Coors Field and back to Houston against the Philadelphia Phillies. What a start for Brown. 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs. Again, this is an elite pitcher in baseball. And I look at what he gets today out the Cleveland Guardians. I will always mention it with Cleveland, but I think it always stands true. There are 2 guys in the lineup that I am concerned about. Okay? The rest of the lineup sucks. And that's why the Cleveland Guardians are not a playoff team and not a team that's in the ALCS. I can make that assumption right now. The Cleveland Guardians are not going back to the ALCS this season. But the reason they're not is because they don't get any production anywhere in their lineup except for their 2 All-Stars, and they were both All-Stars again this season, well-deserved, Steven Kwan and Jose Ramirez. Kwan's a 300 hitter. Ramirez is a 300 hitter. J-Ram went yard yesterday. Kwan went 1 for 5, which lowers his batting average because of how good that guy is. But yeah, beyond those 2, who the hell gives you production? David Fry bats 2 spot for this baseball team sometimes. Carlos Santana is a fossil at this point. He bats 4th and he bats 230. Nolan Jones has not been good. Big Christmas is back. Well, Big Christmas, he will close his eyes and launch a baseball 400 feet every once in a while, but he bats 140. Bo Naylor, Rocchio. Oh man, it is just, you think the San Diego Padres have the worst catching duo in baseball? Let me introduce you to Bo Naylor and Austin Hedges. I get it. Austin Hedges really good defensively, but he bats 115. Bo Naylor, not a bad defensive guy either. He bats 180. Did have 2 hits yesterday, I'll give him credit. But again, those guys aren't going to apply today in the Nerfy. It's just going to be Hunter Brown versus likely Quan, Fry, Ramirez, and if we get there, Santana and Jones. The biggest out, Steven Kwan, it always is. You can't put that guy in the bases just because, again, you put the leadoff man on. Likely it's going to be a single with Steven Kwan, let's just be honest. But again, that's danger. I think Brown's able to get him. Again, we have an all-star hitter versus an all-star pitcher, one of the best pitchers in baseball. I'm going to go Hunter Brown. David Fry or whoever the hell's batting in the 2, they have an assortment of guys who bat 2-hole for this team. It doesn't matter. Hunter Brown should be able to get that out. And then J-Ram. J-Ram will be tough. I completely understand. J-Ram is one of the best hitters in baseball, but I think we're okay there with Hunter Brown. Likely, by the way, David Fry is not going to be batting 2 spot just because yesterday Colton Gordon was pitching and he's a lefty. I guess they'll go Nolan Jones. No, they go Schneemann in the 2, don't they? Yeah, they go Schneemann, I think. Yeah, it'll probably be Daniel Schneemann in the 2 or Manzardo, I believe. Is Lane hurt? Okay, Lane's hurt again. I was going to say, Lane's got 3 IL stints so far in 2025. That is crazy to me. Damn. Thanks for Alex Clemmie, I guess, and Jose Tena. Anyways, I think we're able to get the outs with Hunter Brown. It gets a little bit more tricky with Joey Cantillo. I completely understand that. The 25-year-old out of Honolulu, Hawaii, though, actually hasn't been that bad. He's just an opener. He's a relief pitcher. He's been good in spots. He's given up 1 run since May 10th, where he had a really bad start against the Phillies, I understand. But Joey's actually been pretty good, right? You look at the back end of the month of May for him, he was really good. Only gave up 1 run against the Dodgers. Last opening spot against the Chicago Cubs. Walked 3 guys, but dealt with that. Pitched 3 1/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, and didn't give up a single run. So, Cantillo, the lefty, will go against the Astros. Paredes, Smith, Altuve, Diaz. On paper, it's not that great of a lineup. Obviously, right, Cam Smith is having a tremendous rookie season. Altuve's Altuve, and Isaac Paredes will find ways. Paredes went yard yesterday. I think we're okay with Cantillo here. Again, he usually has his best start right as he opens, obviously. So the first inning is usually his best. I think we're going to be all right here. I'm going to go with the Nerfy today in Houston, Texas, between the Guardians and the Astros. Joey Cantillo and Hunter Brown go out here and get us 6 outs to start off this game. Okay. Our 4th best bet of the video is our 2nd money line of the day. There are some additional money lines that I don't mind today. Like, I don't mind going back to the Tigers. We expected Jack Flaherty to start yesterday and not the Tigers to go bullpen game. It worked out for us, but I still kind of like Jack Flaherty today. So I'm going to go Jack Flaherty in the Tigers money line. That's a bonus play. The other bonus play, we will talk about the A's in a second, but I'm actually going A's money line as well. Didier Fuentes is not a major league pitcher right now at 21 years of age. So give me the A's in Sacramento. That play's got to cash for us eventually, right? Anyways, we'll get to that in a second because we have our player prop with the A's. Our second money line, though, our second official money line is Texas Rangers money line here in Anaheim against the Angels. So yesterday, a game that I fully expected the Rangers to win. I didn't bet it just because of the fact that, Yusei Kikuchi was pitching, and Yusei didn't have his best stuff, nor did Jacob deGrom, 2 guys who are named All-Stars over the weekend. Ultimately, a game that the Angels won 6-5. I believe it was Nolan Schanuel who had the RBI walk. That's great again. The Angels are a tough team to beat at home. I completely understand. Today, I'm going to go with the Rangers, though. I'm going to fade the Angels here. I like the pitching matchup a lot. I understand the Rangers bats just suck. They just do. But I will say this. They're good in spots. They will have their runs like they did on Sunday Night Baseball against the Padres where they're going to go 6 straight innings and not even have a base runner. But they do have their games like yesterday where they did not hit all that poorly in, First inning, they get off to a hot start. Corey Seager, it's a 2-run home run. Adolis Garcia's hitting the ball fairly well. I get it. Again, the lineup, you look at it on paper, and it's absolutely god-awful. It's one of the worst lineups in baseball in terms of just pure numbers-wise. Obviously, the names in the lineup, Seager, Semien, Garcia, Langford, there are guys. Berger, I get it. And Berger's been in the ball a little bit better. Oh, he struck out 3 times yesterday. Again, I just look at the pitching matchup, though, and I see, okay, Nathan Eovaldi, still an elite pitcher in baseball, 35 years of age, but a 1.75 ERA, was really good in his last start against the Baltimore Orioles. He's still slowly building up. Obviously, came back in late June against the Seattle Mariners, only went 3 innings in that game, and didn't do all that well. But his last start looked like Nathan Eovaldi, right? Against the Orioles, Eovaldi goes 5 innings, 2 hits, 0 runs, 5 strikeouts. That's what we expect out of a guy like him. The Angels lineup's good. Don't get me wrong. Zach Neto's great. Schanuel's great. Mike Trout, low average this season, but still a very, dangerous hitter. Taylor Ward, Joe Adell, both very dangerous as well. I'm going to side with the elite pitcher, though, in Eovaldi. Flip side, Jose Soriano is pitching for the Angels. Mixed bag. So Jose Soriano has a trend that he's followed so many times this season, and we've picked against it. Hell, we saw it when I was watching the Nationals play the Angels in person. I witnessed Jose Soriano get absolutely blown up against the Nats, and it followed the trend of, okay, Soriano just had a really good start. That means he's going to regress. And that's exactly what he did when I watched him play the Nationals. And his last start in Atlanta at Truist Park against the Braves was phenomenal. Arguably his best start of the season. 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs, 7 strikeouts in Atlanta against the Braves. You know what that means? There's some regression that's going to happen right now. And I don't care, on paper, the Rangers lineup is not hitting all that well. Again, the same thing happened with the Nationals. Like, the Nationals were ice cold going into Anaheim. They had just gotten shut out by Nick Pivetta through 9 innings, and they walk into Anaheim and they destroy the baseball against Jose Soriano. The same thing's going to happen here. The Rangers are going to somehow just find it now against Soriano. And obviously, again, that's going to start with Corey Seager. That's going to start with even hell Marcus Semien, who still bats 3-hole for this lineup. Those guys are going to need to get going so that Garcia, Langford, Berger, Jonah Heim can get going as well. Sam Haggerty in the leadoff spot. It all starts at the top of the lineup here for Texas, and I think they're going to be all right. Expect somewhat of a low-scoring game because, again, I know Soriano is due for a blow-up start just because that's how he tends to go. But at the same time, it's the Rangers offense, it's the Rangers bats, and I think Nathan Eovaldi should be able to keep this really good Angels lineup at bay. Again, the guys that scare me the most, Zach Neto, Joe Adell. Sean Noel's great. Taylor Ward's got power. Mike Trout's got power. The bottom of the lineup, don't get me wrong, still horrible. Rengifo will have his nights. Travis d'Arnaud went 2 for 4 yesterday. Guys, Iceberg, Travis d'Arnaud looks like he's just not even taking competitive at-bats half the time. And when he puts a ball in play and gets a hit, you're looking around like, how did that happen? Because he just looks so uncompetitive and he looks so uninterested when he's swinging the bat as well. But that's neither here or there. I don't know why this team signed Lamont Wade. Did they DFA Chris Taylor yet? I feel like they have. I haven't seen Chris Taylor in a minute, and I'll be honest, it's not like I'm paying that close of attention. No, he just went on the IL. He had a broken left hand. See, Chris Taylor is pretty irrelevant that at this point in time that I didn't even know that happened. Maybe that's bad on my end, but that makes sense why they signed Lamont Wade. Anyways, give me the Texas Rangers here. I fully believe in Nathan Eovaldi, and I just need this lineup to scrap together a couple runs. Soriano's always bad after a good start, so I'm taking the Rangers here on the road in Anaheim, -120. Final best bet of the video. It's our best player prop of the day. And I mentioned it earlier. I am going A's money line today. I'm going to go with this, though, just because I think it's better value. And I think if the A's are going to win, I do feel like Lawrence Butler is going to have a good game. And really, that's kind of how the A's work. When Butler's playing really well, this team really comes on. And when he's bad, it's just like, all right, they can't get anything going at the top of the lineup. I cannot understate how important Lawrence Butler is to this baseball team. He's their leadoff hitter. They've got, again, the thing with the A's is their pitching sucks. Their bullpen's really bad, besides Mason Miller, who is not having as good of a year as he was last year, and who wasn't even an all-star this season because obviously the A's one all-star was Jacob Wilson. But I'm pretty sure Miller did not make the game. He definitely did not make the game this year. Anyways, the A's, it all gets going with Lawrence Butler because there's capable hitters in the lineup. Now, Brent Rooker's been ice cold recently, which I'm expecting he will bounce back in some way today. But Butler leads off with a lineup that has Jacob Wilson, who's an all-star, who's having one of the best rookie seasons a shortstop has ever had. Brent Rooker, power threat. Nick Kurtz, power threat. Tyler Soderstrom, who went yard on Sunday night. Again, power threats up and down the lineup. There are guys that, Lawrence Butler just needs to get on base for. And I think, again, if the A's are going to win this game, it's going to be because of what Lawrence Butler does at the top of the lineup, again, just to put himself in position to get knocked in. Another thing which really, I think, matters today is that Lawrence Butler just sets the tone early. I'm fully expecting Lawrence Butler to cash this for us with his first at-bat. Whether it be a double or whether it be a home run, I firmly believe Lawrence Butler is going to do something in the first at-bat that he has today against the 20-year-old Dider Fuentes. The 20-year-old out of Toluca, I probably butchered that, out of Colombia. Fuentes has a 9 ERA in 3 appearances this season, and none of his appearances have been good just yet. First appearance on June 20th against the Marlins at Lone Depot, 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs. At Queens at Citi Field against the Mets, 3 1/3, 8 hits, 6 runs. Against the Angels in his last start, 3 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs. He throws batting practice. I don't know why he's up right now. I get it, Chris Sale injury. There's just injuries up and down right now with the Braves. I get that, especially with their pitching staff. I don't think Fuentes right now is MLB ready. I think if the A's really get going on him, I think this will spell the end, at least for now, obviously, for Fuentes and the Bigs. And I always say this too, and this obviously didn't go our way in the Nat series because I witnessed Hayden Birdsong, get through the luckiest start of all time. And don't get me started on the Giants. They fluked their way into a win again yesterday against the Phils. It is what it is. The Phils just forgot to hit with runners on yesterday. It's fine. But it's important, again, that Lawrence Butler sets the tone. And what I was going to with the Giants, too, again, I said this about Hayden Birdsong, and obviously it didn't come true, but this is usually a thing. When guys go to Sacramento and they're struggling, they usually continue to struggle because that is just the worst place to pitch. I'd argue pitching in Sacramento right now might be worse than pitching in Colorado. Sure, you're not pitching at elevation, but again, I say it all the time, the ball flies in Sacramento. Even at 7 o'clock at night, it's the Valley, it's California, it's hot. It's going to be at least 80 degrees still at 7 o'clock when that game starts. Probably more, honestly. It's the Valley. It gets really hot in California over there. On top of that as well, it's like 313 feet to right field to the foul pole and right. It does not take a moonshot to get out in left field as well. I mean, there's so many home runs that are, unicorn home runs that are only home runs at Sutter Health and nowhere else in the Bigs. So I firmly expect Fuentes to get blown up, and I really think, again, this game, it really matters on, all right, Lawrence Butler needs to get the A's going right away. Lawrence Butler needs to see Fuentes, who has a 9 ERA over 4 starts this season, and he needs to deliver right away for the Athletics, get on base, and get it going for the rest of the team. Put himself in a position where Jacob Wilson can drive him in, where Brent Rooker can drive Jacob Wilson in, and where, again, Kurtz and Soderstrom can get going as well. So I firmly believe it all starts with Lawrence Butler today, and I think he's going to deliver. Again, this is a guy that the A's have put full confidence in. I like to call him the franchise player for this team because he is exactly that. Sure, Rooker and Wilson are going to be big pieces, and Miller too. They're all going to be big pieces for the A's when they move to Las Vegas in a couple seasons. Lawrence Butler is a guy that the A's have already put trust in. They gave him the contract extension. They have pretty much crowned this guy the face of the franchise right now. Butler's got to get it done. A's locks back-to-back after, bitching Unk over there, Justin Verlander, on Friday for the 4th of July. They lose back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday against the San Francisco Giants. Law Dog's going to come through tonight for us. He will set the tone, and he will get on with an extra base knock to kick off the game against Didier Fuentes and the Atlanta Braves. If you want to play something additionally, too, I'd go A's money line. If you don't like the A's money line prop, or you don't like straight A's money line, I also don't mind A's plus 1.5 plus Jacob Wilson over 2.5 total bases as well. Or I think you could probably get plus money or even money for A's plus 1.5 and Jacob Wilson to get a hit. But again, it's much more simple if you just go A's money line or Lawrence Butler over 1.5 total bases. I'm going to do both. So folks, thank y'all for watching our MLB Best Bets here for Tuesday, July 8th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily MLB Best Bets. And make sure to join us later today on Greedo Plays MMA for our UFC Nashville Best Bets as well. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. And Mamba forever.